Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
And my name is James, and here we talk about all things Star Wars. And here we are today, live from Japan, day 2. But before we get started, we made a mistake last night, so we're going to do it now. So
we're
go
going
for
to
it
twice. Thank you to all of our awesome Patreon supporters out there, starting with Darth Ace 1, Liam Callan, Chris Simpson, Kevin Leininger, Deb McCaffrey, Drew Peters, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Makatala, Adam Haber, Brad Mackey, Front Row King, Darth Beard, Indiana Solo, Mariana Atia Arnold, who is here with us at the show in Japan,
Yes.
Rest Jedi 27, and Alex Blundell. Thank you so much for your awesome love and support. Also want to give a shout out to Legion Savers. We're actually going to do a giveaway. I got a heads up. So right before I got on my first flight, I think I got a ping from the owner of Legion Sabers. So look out for that. And day 2 of Japan 2025 Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, and it was a full day. Of course, the second day of panel of celebration is usually the busiest, and it's always on a Saturday. Like that's always the busy day, Saturday.
Yeah, for every con,
for every convention. Because Saturday, people don't have to go to work. So I got off to an early start today, and David was able to go into the celebration stage for the Andor panel. I had to go to the Twin Sun stage panel room, which is. So they have 3 stages. We talked about it last night, but the celebration stage is the stage to go to because that's where you actually are in the room and it's live. You get to see the people come on the stage. You get to see everything like that. Whereas hold on, sorry, we got distracted. Whereas the Galaxy and Twin Suns page, those are streamed from the celebration stage. So I was in the Twin Sun stage and I got to watch the Andor panel. And it was pretty good. It was a short panel, and only because we realized why it was a short panel. Did you know that was what was going to happen? It was going to be a short panel.
Well, there's all kinds of speculation on what exactly was going to happen because there's precedents for them showing multiple episodes, and I think we got the episode times, the lengths provided. And it would have been a little bit of a stretch for them to show off the episodes like we're going to get.
Yes.
But I loved hearing from everyone on the couch. They had a lot of actors from Andor there.
Way more than Mando and Grogu. Like, way more than Mando and Grogu.
Yeah. Essentially everyone except for Ben Mendelsohn and Stellan
Skarsgård wasn't there, yeah.
But yeah, it was wonderful getting their genuine reactions on the couch. I think the standouts were like Denise Goff and Adria.
Oh, yeah,
Bix, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will say Denise Goff, that role she plays, and she even said it on stage, and it's always funny when an actor will say, like, I'm really acting. She is really acting her butt off in Andor because she's nothing at all like that, and it's really funny to see her in real life talking, and then to see the show, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's nothing like her. And one of the surprise guests was Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk was there on stage. He really didn't say much. He was just it looked like he was just really happy to be there. But Diego Luna had a lot to say about Alan Tudyk being on set and how he was so happy that K2SO is going to be there. And what was really interesting, what Diego Luna said during the panel was, when you're done watching Andor season 2, he says, go put on Rogue One right away because it's going to be a whole new movie. The whole movie's going to feel brand new after you've watched season 2 of Andor. What do you think that means? Like, what do you think he meant by that?
I think there's 2 schools of thought. I think there is a possibility that they're going to kind of recontextualize the original trilogy and Rogue One almost to the point where it's a dramatic level, maybe not a dramatic level, but almost right to that edge. Or it's going to be essentially what Andor was. And of course, they do like deep character studies, and it's no matter what, it's going to change your perception of Rogue One and the original trilogy. Because you think back to Rogue One, the basic plot, like the key there was addressing the issue that many people had for so long with the Death Star. It's like, why do you have such like an Achilles heel that's just not covered, wide open? And of course, they explained it to us in Rogue One why that was, why you could just like shoot some proton torpedoes in there and just blow up the whole thing. Hopefully we get stuff like that. I'm not too precious about original trilogy stuff that needs to like stand forever in our minds. I mean, kind of almost like retconning stuff in this show would be terrific. If there's something really clever like what we had with Galen and the big fault in the Death Star, I think that would be pretty cool. But the crazy thing is when Diego Luna said, when you mentioned Alan Tudyk, we haven't worked together in 7 years.
Yeah,
that's a crazy thing, man.
You realize that that Rogue One was made, 7 years ago after all the promotionals and everything. Yeah, so it's weird. It's been that long since Rogue One came out, and that blows me away because for me, Rogue One, Force Awakens, and all that feels like it was just a couple of years ago. But no, we're coming up 10 and 9 years when those movies came out. So the panel was pretty good. They talked about a lot of how they were happy to be back and how they're doing it for the fans. And of course, I love the fact that a lot of panels, a lot of the actors say that it's for you. We are thinking about you when we do this. We understand how important this is to you. And so the cast seemed very, very aware of how important this story is to Star Wars. And so it sounded really good. And then there really wasn't much of a lot of reveal. A lot of the stuff they talked about was like kind of just like teasers, only because the show is dropping within a couple of days. And it was about the panel started about 10:20. Tony Gilroy kind of wrapped up the panel and said, "All right, y'all want to watch the first episode?" And we all went crazy because it was awesome. And I honestly thought that in the Twin Sun stage, we weren't going to be able to watch the episode. I thought it was only going to be exclusively for the Celebration stage, because sometimes that's the way Celebration goes. Sometimes they cut something off, and you're like, "Oh, that's cool."
So wrong.
But thankfully, lights go down, Lucasfilm logo comes up, and they made it really important. They were like, "Turn off your phones. Do not have your phones on." And they have people walking up and down the aisle making sure that you do not record the screen, but I'm pretty sure somebody did. Anyways, so yeah, we got to watch the first episode of Andor. And it was pretty good. And I'm going to say this, I don't want to give anything too much away, but a lot of the trailers we've seen, it looks like it's only the first 3 episodes plus maybe a couple of more later. But a lot of the trailers we've seen feels like it's this first 3 episode arc. I don't want to give too much away as to the plot. But the opening sequence, and if you follow us on Instagram, I did say the opening sequence is pretty cool. It was a very strong opening, and people were cheering, people were gasping, people were going, "Oh!" Like, because there's something really cool happened. I'm not going to say what it was. Something really, really cool happened, and then of course, just like Andor goes. He lands, and most like Star Wars, he lands in one situation. He gets out of one situation, lands in another situation, and you're just like, "What is happening?" And then it just starts going. And what I loved about this opener of season 2 was the story just continues. It really, like, for instance, you're gonna see a character who you know already. There's no introduction. The camera just cuts to him. I don't want to say who it is, but the camera just cuts to him, and then he's just talking, and then you're just like, "Oh, okay." There's no, they don't do a whole like build up. It's just the show literally just starts to continue, and it was really cool. They introduced a plot point which is very big in Star Wars, and it's one of those things that oh, this is going to be really, really a massive part of the story, and it was great. After the show, after the episode ended, they showed us a little sizzle reel of what we're going to be seeing, stuff that hasn't been shown in any of the trailers. There's one shot of all these stormtroopers pointing their weapons down, and you just know that something really, really bad and sad is happening during that moment, because they're all blasting away, but you don't know what they're blasting at, but you have a pretty good idea of what is happening during that scene. And it looks pretty good. It looks very promising. I'm very excited for where the season's going to go. And I know I talked a lot, guys. I'm really sorry. David, what did you think about the Andor season 2, episode 1?
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the special effects in the beginning? Were they like cinema quality? Because it felt like cinema quality to me.
Dude.
It felt like they dropped some massive cash on this last season. Because it's last season, so go with the bang. Makes sense. It looked cinema quality. Maybe even better than cinema quality.
Yeah, man. It looked like Rogue One looked, how Gareth Edwards shot Rogue One, and how the visual effects blended perfectly with what they were doing. They had the sequence at the beginning, man. I'm watching what's happening, and I was just blown away, because I'm like, it feels like they built this thing and they're actually doing everything in this space that they're at. And of course, then there's a chase sequence after that too, which I was like, that's pretty darn cool. Yes, 100%. The visual effects look cinema quality in this thing, and plus Andor did, I don't know how they did it, but the whole, they had practical sets, but then they digitally enhanced and digitally added on to where it worked. They didn't draw attention to the visual effects. And in this, of course, there's a big scene of them on this planet, and it's kind of expands far away, and you can tell, okay, there's a lot of visual effects happening in this, but it's flawless. Like, you can't even tell where the line is. Yeah, it was cool. It was really great. And they only showed us the first one only because the Ahsoka panel was starting almost immediately after. So there was no way they were ever going to show more than one episode. We were all hoping that all 3 would drop on tonight. Like, they would show us all 3 episodes, but I guess that's not the way they do it here. Yeah. I mean, so yeah.
And I also say this, that beginning sequence, it's a very familiar experiential type of situation for gamers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's going to be like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And to me, it really brought the realism to what was going on, because the situation kind of called for it. It's like when you get dropped into something that you kind of know broadly, and then it doesn't work out. I know I'm speaking very, very,
very vague.
Yeah,
which is because we want you to experience this. We don't want to give it away what happens at the beginning. Anyway,
yes, and it looks very, very good. With the episode dropping, a lot of media have seen the entire series already,
and they are saying it's amazing. They are saying it's phenomenal, and they are saying it's remarkable. I mean, this show is already getting high praise, and it, like we said, it just a lot of the reviews started to come out today, a lot of the early reviews. Liam, thank you for joining us. We're doing great. We're still going strong. It is currently 6:22 p.m. on Saturday in Japan, so just think about that. There was a line spoken at the beginning. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but the line made me gasp because of just how straightforward it was. This character asked a question, and it kind of what's the word I'm trying to say? It kind of like speaks for the entire rebellion of what they're doing at the very beginning. Encapsulates. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. Encapsulates what's happening with the entire rebellion and what they're doing, and whether or not it's worth it. And it was one of those lines that was dropped, and you hear people in the audience went like gasp, because it was like, oh my gosh, that. And then the dialogue, of course, is written by Tony Gilroy. He wrote the first episode. It's gonna, if you love the first season, I guarantee you, when you watch the first episode, you're gonna be like, oh, yep, this is Andor. It goes right into it, and yeah, it looks. Where it ended, you just know. And what sucks is, of course, we have to wait until Tuesday. But on Tuesday, as soon as episode 1 is done, you just get to go right into episode 2. And trust me, you're going to want to go directly into episode 2, because where it ended, you're just like, what? Yeah, it's awesome. I know we're talking a lot about it. I'm wearing my Andor shirt today. It says Andor on the back. There's like 2 other people wearing the same shirt, so it was really cool. I'm really glad I got to be in that panel. Just saying.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was at the celebration stage watching this. There was a big echo with the audio.
In the celebration stage, there's a huge echo in that room.
So
it's
it was
obnoxious.
kind of tough, actually, kind of like recognizing exactly what they were saying at some point. I guess it just depended on the actor. But did they mention Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yes, during the meeting they did mention
so
him.
Grand Moff Tarkin was referenced. He wasn't seen, and we still haven't seen anything. They mentioned the Ring of Kafrine, which of course is the first planetoid, or not the first, but the second planetoid body that you see. Was there any other references to? They didn't mention Vader at all, right?
Didn't mention Vader. Mentioned Palpatine. Mentioned the Senate.
Did they?
And you can hear this. You can already see
that there's a huge echo. Man.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, so I was in the celebration stage 3 times yesterday. Yes, and the echo was pretty obnoxious for the Light and Magic and the animation panel. It was a little crazy.
Right.
Twin Suns Galaxy stage, no issue with the echo. The sound was really good. So tomorrow I might actually go to the Galaxy stage and not go to the celebration stage.
Is there standby for Galaxy and Twin Suns?
There are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know which one is bigger? Because Galaxy's pretty big.
Galaxy's bigger.
Okay.
Twin Suns is smaller. It's fun, but it's a good place to like. So I did Twin Suns for the Andor for Ahsoka. Mariana, who's one of our patrons, her and her husband are here. She got the Galaxy stage reservation for Ahsoka, and her husband went in, and she saved me a spot, and I waited out in the queue. Luckily, they let us in, and because it got to like 12:50, and then we got to go in finally, and it was like it's getting kind of close. But yeah, there's standby for both of the stages, and so I think I might actually hit the Galaxy stage tomorrow for the closing ceremony because I don't want to deal with the celebration stage sound.
Like, what? Where? What'd they say?
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. So yeah, I guess I could segue now into the Ahsoka panel.
No, not yet.
What are you talking about? Just kidding.
So when we got into the panel for Andor, they handed us tickets. And of course, you get a ticket. The last couple of celebrations, they gave us bracelets. So I thought the ticket was maybe to get in, but no, you kept the ticket. And of course, DJ Elliott is always a DJ before on the celebration stage that does like the entertainment. And of course, he's DJing. He had Atomic Blonde on the stage with him this time. So I guess she's moved up and they're tag teaming together. But maybe because the echo, I never heard them say, oh, you get a poster at the end, and you can get it from DJ Elliott. Mentioned that if there is a giveaway, go to Hall 7 to pick it up.
Interesting.
Did you hear something clearly about a poster?
No, they turned off the channel, the stream, and the DJs there, they said, when you're leaving, be sure to stop and pick up your ticket because you're going to be able to get a poster after this. So they told us right away, we're going to get a poster, and it's pretty cool. Here, you got it. Yeah, so that is the poster for season 2 exclusive celebration poster. It's awesome. There's a lot going on, and it works. And so I thought only because again, sometimes celebration is not fair to other people, other stages. So I was convinced we weren't going to get anything because we were in the Twin Suns stage. But sure enough, as we were leaving, I got my ticket and I was able to go get my poster, and I was like, yes. Awesome. So that was really cool. And yeah, I'm excited for the rest of this season. And again, we're a broken record. 3 episodes are going to be dropping on Tuesday. And then Tony Gilroy said they figured out a way to do the story on like the 3 episodes cover certain days within that year that are very, very important because each of the 3 episode arcs are a year. So, which I was like, man, that's amazing that's how they're going to do it.
So, of course, in Rogue One, they put the titles of the planets on the screen.
Yes.
And they're kind of keeping with that tradition. And they're going to put the BBY.
Yep.
Before I think maybe every episode.
I think every episode. I think every week, like episode 4 is going to have the BBY 4
every 3 episodes is a jump.
Yeah, is a jump. And so just letting you know that's how they're going to do it. Dude, it's cool. Like it's really interesting that's how the show is going to be done, and the fact that Disney was like cool with them to do that.
So Disney wanted them to go like 5 years, and Tony Gilroy was like, "I can't be on this thing for 20 years. We got to wrap it up. I'm moving on."
That's smart.
So that's why we're getting what we're getting.
And man, Tony Gilroy, man, he figured it out, dude. He freaking figured it out. What?
I so wish that
he would stay.
No, it's like. I really wish that almost that we didn't get to see that episode and let Tony Gilroy just speak.
I will say, yeah, because it sounded like okay, sorry, just flip it over, man. Jesus, someone is
James gets distracted very easily.
Well, yeah,
somebody's liking our stuff a whole bunch right now.
And
on
we
my
thank
phone.
you, and we thank you very much for liking it on Instagram. Go check out our Instagram, But yeah, I will say it was kind of funny because he talked at the beginning and then Tony Gilroy just kind of sat there for the rest of the panel. And if you've ever heard him talk, he is very, very knowledgeable. His commentary on the movie Michael Clayton is really, really great. I learned a lot about screenwriting watching that commentary because he's very, very smart. He articulates very well. He sounds very smart. And yeah, I agree. I wish he would have like kind of spoken more about why they did what they did with this, but I also understand he wants this to be a surprise for the fans. I think he wants people to experience this because if you remember when Andor season 1 came out, a lot of those arcs we had no idea about. We had no idea about the bank heist. We had no idea about the prison break. It was all a surprise, and I think it worked perfectly for that. So I think that's what they're doing again with season 2 is he's keeping a lot of things hidden because he doesn't want people to know what's about to happen.
There's a line that he dropped in this first episode. It was already out there. A large chunk of this of kind of like the plot a little bit in the beginning is already online, but there is a line in there that I might take with me forever.
What was it?
It's the line that Andor gives to the Imperial worker. He's like, "You, God, man, you made me forget it." Started talking to me. It's basically, I'm paraphrasing now, I guess. It's that fear line that you are. What you really are is what you are beyond the fear. And I was like, man, that is incredible. It's online. I totally forgot exactly how it goes.
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'm trying to. God, man, I went blank. But yeah, it's really good. I'll have to relook it up and I don't know, tattoo it on my forearm or something.
You should do that. But yeah, it was cool. A lot of people are brought in. A lot of the plots just continue. I will say this. I'm going to say this right now.
You are what you do beyond your fear. Something along those lines.
That's pretty good.
Which there was a lot of fear going on.
Yeah, that opener, like I said, there's a lot happening. And I'm going to say this, okay? That cut, because the show is called Andor, so you got to see Andor, okay? I'm not giving away anything, but the cut to Andor was like pretty cool, and everybody like freaked out because it was almost like when they were editing it, they were like, "This is gonna be it. Like this is gonna be really cool." And just the way he's there, the way he kind of glances towards the camera, I was like, "That's a good introduction for him, man." Just we're not gonna tell you what he's doing, but it was pretty cool. And
I was very happy that the crowd was very interactive because I know that cast is behind that curtain listening for reactions. And anytime a fan favorite came up, big applause, cheers. I was so happy for all the cast that showed up that got to experience this because a lot of actors don't get this type of experience. There's no celebration for like Law and Order or anything.
Yeah,
like
there's no celebration for Jurassic Park or Transformers.
Yeah, it's like they just do the thing and they just hope it makes money. You know, they don't get that pure feedback that an audience that loves, and all the super fans that are here at Japan Celebration can give these actors. Of course, this is the swan song for Andor. This is it, man. I mean, it's going to be one of those gems that we maybe look back on. And I think Maggie Lovett from Collider, she said this will be the best Star Wars ever. She's seen the entire series.
I'm not gonna lie. Outside of the movies, Andor is my favorite Star Wars. Like, hands down, favorite Star Wars is Andor outside of the movies. Second is Rebels, because Rebels is freaking awesome. But yeah, Andor is one of those shows that when you're watching it and you're listening to the dialogue, you're seeing the story progress, you're just like, this is so good. Not just for a Star Wars story, this is a great story. And I of course I agree that this could be one of the best Star Wars ever. So yeah, it's Tuesday, it's gonna drop. Everyone's excited, everyone's pumped. They did the one way out. People dressed up as the prison, the prisoners, and they ran around the Twin Sun stage.
A lot of Rebel Legion first did that.
It was really cool. Unfortunately,
Colin would have been with them.
Yes, of course he would have been in there. Of course, for the Twin Suns, everybody was kind of tired, so everybody was just kind of like, I'm just gonna go to sleep, but nobody was like really hyped up for them. Mariana's in the house. What do we got? The practical effects really make Andor so great. I agree. It's, we were talking about how, like, how, like, even the sets, how it's a practical set, and they start the camera small, which a lot of big visual effects movies don't do that. A lot of visual effects movies like to go big with your visual effects shot, and then you come into the small space, you come into the small practical set. Whereas Andor does a lot of the opposite, where you kind of are personal, and then you cut to the wide, and that's where you see the visual effects added to the background. And it's that little change makes Andor feel so much more real. Hey, saw David going to Hot Toys, I believe. Maybe I'll run into you two out there tomorrow. Didn't see any of the Andor panel myself. I'm just going to say this. There were a few people who we saw look at us and then not look at us. Oh, yeah. David got some toys. So David got a Galen Erso, which looks dope. And then this one, yeah. If David, if you hear a noise in the night and that box is gone, that wasn't me. All right, I'm just saying, because that is like the coolest Darth Vader I've seen ever, man.
So yeah, this person on YouTube, I don't know if I can pronounce the name, but yeah, I was at Hot Toys. I finally bought some Hot Toys 6-scale figures. I have the Grogu, but I don't have anything else from Hot Toys. We did some giveaways for Hot Toys. I think they were like the 32 scale, 132 or something. I know we gave away an IG 11, maybe something else, but yeah, these are my first 6-scale Hot Toys ever, and I've wanted to buy them on Celebration floors in the past, and in the past they never had them on site, so it was like, well, I don't want to buy it here and then it gets shipped to my house. I kind of want the experience of buying it, having it, and just saying I got that at Celebration. And it's even more special now because it's in Japan, so it's awesome. That's what I wanted. Countdown to the Geek says morning.
What do you, it's 4:30 in the morning in Texas right now. What do you?
Yeah, that's Ted. He don't sleep.
Ted, go to bed, man. Jeez. Anyway,
he may have just woken up.
Thanks for joining us, though. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, David was there. But yeah, we were walking down on the floor, David and I were, and David was like, "Those people recognized us." I was like, "No, they didn't." He goes, "Yeah, I heard them say, 'Do you know who that was?'" And it was like, "Why don't they just come talk to us? If you see us, come talk to us. We're very, very nice people." All right?
We get the stairs, like,
yes, we got that a few times on the floor. We were walking. I was like, "David, are people are people looking at us?" He goes, "Yeah, people look at us and they go like," and then they keep walking, and I'm like, "Why don't they come and say hi to us?" Anyways.
I remember the guy with his friend say, once they passed us, "Do you know who that was?" And maybe they were talking about us. I don't know.
They were talking about us. But yeah, what was great though,
we were the only ones there.
We saw a friend of ours named Jason Palmer. Great, amazing artist.
Yeah,
fun guy. We've seen him twice. One at you've seen him probably more than that, which is I've seen him twice. Which was at the okay. That's the guy who high fived. That's the guy who high fived Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, he was there at superhero at the superhero car show in San Antonio and SpaceCon. I got to see him, and it was really cool because we walked up to his booth and there was a few people there, and he's talking. He looks right at me and goes like this. I was like, "Oh man, that's great." He looks at David like, "Both of you guys are here."
Yeah,
and it was great. And you know, these guys, they see hundreds, if not thousands, of people every convention, and the fact that some of them can remember you just means the world. Like, I don't know why, it's so cool. Like Level Up Leroy, he's a DJ. I met him in Chicago at Star Wars Celebration. Today he was on the Galaxy stage and I got to see him and he remembered me, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, that was back in 2019. And as you guys say,
he said, didn't know David cut such an imposing figure. Should be
maybe
easy to spot
maybe
tomorrow.
that's what it is. Maybe they see you and they go, oh
guys,
my god.
Guys, here's the thing. I'll tell you something personal about myself.
Uh-oh.
I have body dysmorphia. I still feel like I'm a little kid, and I don't feel like I'm as big as I am. So, and I'm 5'11", like 300 and something pounds. So,
meanwhile,
when I was at and it was funny because when I was at SpaceCon, we were setting up one of the booths next to us. The guy was setting up and he made mention of something, and he's like, "Oh, don't want to mess with you." And I'm like, "What? Why not?" And he's like, "Because you're a big guy." And I'm like, "I am." So
I'm the opposite. I know exactly how tall I am, how much I weigh, and how I look. All right, I know exactly my when people see me, I just know for a fact when people see me, they probably go like, "Oh, that's it." It's like, yeah, that's it. That I'm 5'3", 150 some odd pounds. So that's who I am.
But I still feel like my mind is still like 12-year-old kid.
You're ridiculous,
like a little dude.
He said, "Oh, I thought you were 6'2" or so." Yeah.
Okay, so I am taller than 5'11" when I wear shoes. So
okay.
I usually have like thick-soled shoes. So
he's a tall person, all right. And of course, if you see us walking together, it's really obvious how tall he is because I am very short. So I think that's another reason why people are always like, "Oh my gosh, David is so tall." But yeah. So if you're here, you see us, please come say hi. All right. We like to talk to people. We like to talk.
Yeah, we have a lot of swag too. So
yeah,
I still have it in my pocket.
I have it in my pocket too.
So I have pins here still, and I got badges to sell. I feel like I'm trying to hawk stuff still. Oh, there's my passport. It's wild. I got all the badges right here. So I guess now it's just Sunday that I can sell that you can actually use. Yeah. But of course, if you like the artwork, I'll sell you.
The badges, and the artwork looks really cool. I know somebody was like, "Hey, where's this badge? Where's this badge?" And I jokingly said, "Okay, don't make it obvious, but if you see a kid, look at their badge because the kids' badges are freaking amazing too. Like they get awesome artwork as kids, and it's always disappointing to see. Like I think the kid, one of the kids is a Leia, is the Princess Leia one that I really want, and I'm like, you suck for having that one because that's the one that I really want. But yeah, so yeah, if you see us, please come say hi. We're here. We like to talk to people. So can I go to the
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I'll probably be silent on this because I didn't get to witness it.
Unfortunately, David did not attend the Ahsoka panel. I did. The only reason I attended the Ahsoka panel was one, because I enjoyed the first season a lot, and two, I was hoping for some good tidbits about the second season. So it was really nice to hear about, the casting experience, like when they cast Rosario Dawson, and how, it was that whole kind of fan pitch. People were like, Rosario Dawson would be great, and then even Rosario Dawson jumped on the train saying, Ahsoka lives, this and that, it's so cool. And then when it came time for the moment where there was like, oh, we could possibly bring Ahsoka into Star Wars, Dave Filoni looked at her and he was like, I think, yeah. he goes to talk to Jon Favreau, and Jon Favreau is asked, "Who do you have in mind for Ahsoka?" And he goes, "Rosario Dawson." And he was like, "I know her," and so he was able to then get them into contact with each other. She says it was on Skype, like that's how long ago it was on Skype before Zoom, and they were having a bad connection. And she said what was really good was, a lot of the time you get a phone call like this, especially if somebody's like, "Oh, hey, I'm Dave Filoni," or "I'm somebody from Lucasfilm," you think it's a joke. You don't think it's real. And so she's like, so I'm looking at them face to face, knowing that this is real. He's showing me pictures of Ahsoka that he drew with my face. Like he'd already drawn pictures of her. And she said, we were having a bad connection, so we turned off the cameras. She was like, I'm so glad we did. She said, because she's over there when the camera's off, just going like just dancing, because she knows this is about to happen. This role is for her. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, that's so cool that she was really, really excited for this. And they brought out Hayden Christensen. He came out on stage. He was very happy to be there. And what was really interesting was they talked about how Dave Filoni, the first time he met Hayden Christensen was at the 2017 celebration in Florida. That was the first time they met each other at the 40th panel, because remember, Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott came out, and Dave Filoni is watching Hayden Christensen and he's like, dude, the audience loves him. Like, and even Hayden was like, oh, this is pretty crazy, right? And Dave Filoni was like, dude, you are, listen to them. Like, he goes, this is that a lot of that yelling is for you. And he said right then and there, he said, I need to work.
I thought it was for Ian McDermott.
Well, no. And he said, he said right then and there, I realized I need to work with Hayden Christensen. I need to somehow make this possible to work with him. And then he jokingly said, he goes, I literally created a whole other dimension to work with Hayden Christensen. And I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. He literally created the world between worlds just to work with Hayden Christensen. And he said that they met, it was awesome, and that they clicked right away because they both came from the school of George Lucas, which I never thought about that, but they both were very, very much, they both talked to each other and they were like instantly like in sync, like, okay, we know what we're doing. And Hayden Christensen said, you know, there's a lot of things about Anakin that I don't know, but there's a lot of things about Anakin that Dave didn't know. So we both went back and forth filling in those gaps and everything. And it was really cool. And then he talked about, what's her name? The actress who played the young Ahsoka.
Ariana
Greenblatt. There's a picture of her behind the scenes sitting down, and there's clone troopers in a semicircle around her. And he was like, I don't know what she was talking about. She was sitting there, and these actors, clone troopers, are just listening to her, and she is like telling a story and pointing, and they're looking that way, and then she's like pointing, and he took a picture because he said it was so surreal, because he was like, I have drawn this character for years. And he was like, and then when she came in the costume, he was like, it was weird because it was like, there she is. He was like, that's Ahsoka. And you could tell he was getting kind of like emotional because how
I don't understand how these people don't cry on stage. If I was on stage, I'd be like crying.
He did. So we got to the subject.
No, like tears. I haven't seen tears from people, and I'm like in the audience, like tearing up.
Yeah, I was tearing up hearing him talk about that. He got emotional because they did bring up Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
And they did a close up on his face, which I was like, come on, don't do that. But hearing his like talking about how hard that hit, like he said, that was a devastating thing to happen. I mean, he said he loved Ray Stevenson. Ray Stevenson was a really, really good, was a really great actor. And okay, so you should have been on this, Mariana. She heard more than I did. He and how he said like it took him a while to figure out if he was going to bring Baylan back into season 2 because of that. And so but anyways, it was really nice to hear how Dave Filoni reacted to seeing Ahsoka and the young Ahsoka, and how he was like, there she was. He goes, it didn't feel real that it was her. And he goes, and I'm looking and I see her standing next to Rosario, and he's like, I can't believe this is actually happening right now. And it was cool, and he said and even Rosario Dawson said it's really shocking when you see how young Ahsoka was during the Clone Wars. Like, it really hits you how young she was to just be thrust into this war as a child.
Yeah,
and it was so cool. And then they were like, oh, by the way, we did cast Balin, which is Rory. I forgot what his last name, but he played the Mountain in not the Mountain. He played the Hound.
Rory Culkin.
Yeah, exactly. He played the Hound in Game of Thrones. They showed a picture of him as Balin, and he looks pretty good. And they said that he understands what this role is, and he got it. He figured it out to where even Dave Filoni says,
Rory McCann.
Yeah, Dave Filoni says it works. Like it's gonna work. And so I was that kind of put a lot of us at ease, knowing that Dave Filoni did take the time to find the right actor to fill in for that part. He says because that character is gonna go on a crazy adventure in the next season. And then they brought out the big reveal, which was production begins next week, which everybody was like, oh, really? Like, yeah, next week is when production begins on Ahsoka 2. Rosario Dawson said they've all been training already for about a couple of months, and they're all ready. They're all excited. And then they asked, Rosario's coming back. We have other people coming back. And Hayden Christensen said, I will be back for season 2. So Hayden Christensen is coming back as Anakin Skywalker for season 2. Force Ghost, World Between Worlds, we don't know. Most likely, what do you think? Force Ghost?
Yeah, maybe a mix
or flashbacks.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And plus, it's Hayden Christensen. I mean, they know. Lucasfilm knows the fans love Hayden Christensen. So it's getting to that point now where they have finally figured out, oh, we need to put him in everything we possibly can because people are going to watch it knowing that he's in there. And that episode that he was in was, I think, was it like the highest rated episode that whole
Shadow
year?
Warrior.
Shadow Warrior was like one of the highest rated episodes of that whole year. It was one of the most watched episodes of that year.
Put in the theater.
Yeah, they dropped that thing in the theater for good reason. Why? Hayden Christensen was back. So they know. And so Dave Filoni did something interesting, which was he said, okay, I know I can't just leave without giving you something, but we haven't shot any footage. There's nothing. We don't have anything. He said, so I took this idea from The Empire Strikes Back when they launched that teaser trailer, which was, if you've ever seen it, it's amazing because it's Harrison Ford narrating the movie and what's about to happen, and all they had was concept art for the movie, which was Ralph McQuarrie's amazing artwork. And he said, so what we did was we put together our own style of the Empire Strikes Back trailer for the Ahsoka season 2 teaser trailer for you, and enjoy. And oh my gosh, this was one of the best teaser trailers I've ever seen. It was cheesy, yes, but it was so impactful because it took you right back to like the classic Star Wars. Yeah. And it was like Ahsoka season 2, we find Ahsoka. And it's almost like the Clone Wars thing. And it's like at the same time, her friends Hera and Ezra are fighting and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was smiling so big. I think I almost had tears in my eyes because it felt so good. It felt like Star Wars. And, the images they were showing, I mean, it looked like Ahsoka was fighting some giant, like old ancient creature. And I was like, what is that? It looked amazing. Oh, we got some people. Mariana says, I'm thinking Hayden will play a role in this Mortis God arc. David was really pivoting anytime that question. Yeah, he was the Mortis thing. He was like, yeah, I'm rewriting it, writing it, we're trying to figure it out. And was a lot funnier, a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It felt, like I said, it felt like that classic Star Wars feel. And I loved it. I was so happy with that trailer, and I hope it drops online. It's leaked. Somebody already put it out there, so if you could find it, watch it. It's so good. Like I said, it just reminds you of Star Wars, the classic Star Wars. And how
much do you want to bet that Sam Witwer's going to play the son?
Yeah, he has to, right?
Yeah.
It's
him or Matt Smith.
Ooh, Matt Smith would be good because
Yeah.
he was supposed to be in Rise of Skywalker,
Hmm.
and that didn't work. Which I always thought that was a rumor until I think he came out and said no, he was like in the
and
movie.
then he went mum about it, and it's like, well, Lucasfilm probably said don't talk about it because there's enough controversy.
And then that's when he said anyways, that would be cool if Matt Smith was in there. But yeah, it looks like this, and like just looking at the concept art, the season looks so much bigger. The season looks massive. And it's going to be dual storylines, meaning we're going to go from Ahsoka to Ezra. So we're going to go back and forth, and this kind of explains why we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long Ahsoka is going to be on this planet or in the other entire galaxy, galaxy that she's in. So this could explain why she's not in the events of the sequel trilogy. You know what I mean? So Thrawn's back. And we got some pretty cool tidbits, which was they had the head of Admiral Akbar, and Dave Filoni was like, it was really hard not to write it's a trap because he should know. He should know when the trap is, And he says that he goes, yeah, Admiral Akbar is going to be in here. He goes, and I'm just going to say it. He's going to go head to head with Thrawn. And I was like, and the audience went nuts. And that got me chills because I was like, that means we're going to get some battles, and you're going to have Admiral Akbar looking at Thrawn, trying to figure out what is Thrawn's next move.
And I think we got Radis in the trailer that they dropped after.
Yes, we did. Radis is going to be in season 2 of Andor. Yeah, which makes sense because where we are. Yeah, he was there for like a hot second. Now, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, because no one else talked about that.
I love the Moncals.
Yeah, no one else caught that. Mariana says she's going to be $30 for who? Sam Witwer or for
$30 or 30 yen?
30 yen. I'll take the 30 yen. And then the Loth Kittens, yes. Dave Filoni said the funniest thing about the Loth Kittens. You know what he said? He was like, yeah, we have Loth Kittens. We got to pay for this all somehow. I was like, oh, God. He was like,
that's a good line.
He's like, so they can't really walk, so they roll everywhere when they're kittens. So they're going to be rolling around. And so you just know and like he said, that's money. That is straight up money for Lucasfilm right there. Witwer is everywhere. Hope they get him. Man, Witwer, God, like I talked about yesterday, his panel of Light and Magic was so good. I was like, dude, you're an awesome guy, man. I need you to do a lot more things in life.
It is true that Witwer was everywhere because he passed by us in line for the celebration stage for Andor twice. So he got massive cheers and everyone like turned around and like looked and like, what's going on? It was Sam Witwer just walking by with an entourage of people.
Man, he's great.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's a great Star Wars mind. He needs to be in some type of executive role or creative role or something.
Ted over here. It's going to be a good old switcheroo, and Akbar will be the one to set a trap. That would be pretty cool. Like if it
makes Thrawn, a lot of narrative sense there.
If Thrawn turns around and says it's a trap, you know what? I'm just going to go off on a little thing. That moment in Return of the Jedi when it's a trap is such a badass moment in the movie that I hate that it gets kind of like picked on and like memified.
Yeah.
But that moment in Return of the Jedi is the most badass moment of that movie when the music is building up and then he's like, we gotta go, we got enemies, it's a trap, and they're all trying to leave. Dude, that's the coolest thing ever. Anyways,
that might be top 3 or 5 pieces of music.
No, I think that's top 3.
Yeah. And then it just swells.
It just
dude. So my dream, I don't think I've ever shared this on the podcast. If we ever did a Star Wars Starfighter movie, you would cut to all the pilots doing their call signs, and it would just like almost like Brady Bunch out and just get exponential with all the fighters doing their like check-ins, and that's like a dream that I have. I thought we were going to get that in Rise of Skywalker because there's so many ships, so many pilots. They could have did that, but I wasn't in charge, so it didn't happen.
But next time we will be in charge. By the way, so this is Coca-Cola. We're not sponsored by them. We're not sponsored by them at all. But there is something different about the Coke bottles here in Japan. David pointed it out to me, and I thought I was losing my mind.
Did I point it out to you?
Yeah.
Or did you just like experience it?
I think we did it, and you were like, dude, these are crazy. So when you when you crack open one of these things, it makes the loudest like poof sound. Anyways, I'm not gonna go. I'm not. It's not
And
about
the
that.
Coca-Cola in Japan is delicious.
Mariana says
Not so much in
dollars.
London.
She says dollars, David. So
Okay.
so not yen. And she says she's betting it's not gonna be either of them.
Probably. You know what's funny? There's a lot of people here in Japan that I haven't ran into yet, and Mariana is one of them.
Yeah,
And
I got
I
lucky.
was joking today with James at lunch that like there's all these people that I'm not going to run into are going to think that I never was in Japan.
Yeah.
Because they run into James
Mhm.
and they ask, "Where's David at? Where's David?" And we're separated because we have different reservations. So that's the reasoning. But yes, I am here. It's not green screen. I'm not back in South Texas.
he's legitimately
I am
here.
physically here. Yeah.
He's here, guys. It's not a split screen. And like we said yesterday when we jumped on the podcast together, hey, you need to stop talking. Anyways,
Stop talking on that podcast.
oh, Mariana, seriously, yeah, you haven't even met her. That's so crazy.
I am here. I am here.
Oh, jeez. Maybe tomorrow we'll meet. I'm gonna see if she can sneak me into the show store.
Shout out to Gabe, by the way, Star Wars Replicas. I saw him today and I called him over just so I could like make sure that I saw him because I'm going to see him probably in San Diego Comic-Con and at Rebels Comic Con. So I didn't want to like lead him on to think that I wasn't here.
Yeah, General Kenobi asked me twice where you were. It
Yeah.
was really funny,
So General Kenobi with Countdown to the Geeks, he hasn't seen me either.
which is so strange.
So Ted's going to be like, "Did you actually go to Japan?"
He's
Did
here,
you
guys. He's here. But although Ted did say it's an AI avatar of David.
Possibly.
But yeah, so
Glitch out.
the panel was really good for Ahsoka, and yeah, it goes into production next week, which is why Carrie Beck wasn't here because she's actually in London getting prepared for the season, the shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, what was really funny was the producer of Andor season 2. She started dropping all the numbers of like how many sets they built, how many costumes they built, how many stages they're using,
32 droids.
how many droids, how many
100 and something aliens.
yeah. And then the guy was like, "Oh, you're good with numbers." And then she just kind of gave him this look like, "Yeah,
I have to be.
I have to." And I even made the comment. I was like, "That's her job." I was like, "She needs." I was like, "If anyone knows, she needs to know all of that." And so it was just really. I was like, for me, I know the guy was being funny, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not a. It's like, dude, that's the producer. Like, she has to know all of that.
Yeah.
And man, she was just dropping those numbers. Like, and what was great was you could tell those weren't just made up numbers because she said, "Wait, no, that's this many." And like, yeah. Anyways, so that, and they said, yeah, Andor season 2 is much bigger than what we got in season 1.
Hire me Lucasfilm for something.
I'll meet you under the Lego cube,
Under the Lego cube.
which yeah, it's not the one hanging on the. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, so Level Up Leroy, I think like I talked about him. He was there. He's the DJ. So each of the stages has their own DJ, and he was the DJ on the Galaxy stage, which is the second biggest stage at the convention. And I met him in Chicago. He was at the Celebration hall. And I felt bad for him because he had 2 speakers on the first floor and he was on the second floor.
It's an interesting setup.
It was a very interesting setup because I remember hearing him talking and he would play music and you just see people looking at the speakers going, "Who is talking?" Then one day I went upstairs, I was just looking around and I saw him and I was like, "You're the DJ." He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I don't know why they put me up here, but I'm just playing music for the lobby and everything." And he and I struck up a nice like 10-15 minute conversation. Really cool guy. Gave him some of our swag and everything. And then I looked on he and I are Facebook friends. I followed him on Facebook and I saw that he was in Tokyo and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna be at Celebration."
Yeah.
And he was the DJ on the Galaxy stage. So after the Ahsoka panel, I walked up and I was just gonna say, "Hey man, how you doing?" Mind you, I know he's not gonna recognize me. He looks at me and just goes like, "Star Wars stuff. How you doing, man?" And I'm just like, "Get out of here." He was like, "Chicago, right?" I was like, "Yeah." It was crazy. I was like, "There's no way." But yeah, he remembered me. It made my day. And then seeing Jason Palmer as well, being like, he just pointed at me. He just goes, he's talking, goes, and
Yeah. Trivia question here. Yeah. Trivia answer, I guess. Level Up Leroy did the music for the start of every audio podcast that you hear from us. So
Yes.
Level Up Leroy that you're hearing.
And I'm gonna message him, and we're gonna probably do another. We might get another song. He said he would be willing to. I know we messaged him before to do a new song, and he even brought that up. And he goes, "Man," he goes, "I got really sick. Everything just kind of went down, and then he goes, I kind of didn't get back into it for a while." So I was like, "Dude, totally fine." So you might be hearing some new music from the Star Wars Stuff podcast, and that's gonna be from Level Up Leroy, and he is awesome. And if you got Celebration, go check him out there at the Galaxy stage. He's really cool.
And also, you touched on Jason Palmer. So Jason Palmer studied under Drew Struzan, and I think his artwork is probably the best that you can see at pretty much any convention. He does all kinds of different characters. He has a really nice Shin Hati.
Why'd you look at me when you said that? Why are you looking at me when you said that, man?
To get confirmation. And his Star Wars characters from all kinds of franchises and stuff. But he's a really good guy. I remember when I first met him, he had a very long conversation with me, and he was dropping names like Doug and John. And I'm like, John who? Doug who? He's like, oh, John Knoll, Doug Chang.
He can text Doug Chang. Doug Chang is on his phone that he could text. Just letting you know that's how this guy is. Okay, I'll throw that out there.
So I mean, he's already famous for being
a great artist. Tremendous
but I think the thing that he's most famous for is the big mural in Chicago that stretched from one side of the hall to the other, and famously it had Thrawn looking like Pierce Brosnan. Then I asked him about that. I was like, "What's the deal with that?" And he basically said, "That's who I wanted Thrawn to be played by was Pierce Brosnan. That's why he painted him." And we all thought it was like a leak or something, but no. And we've also seen that with the end credits of The Mandalorian season 1, I believe.
Oh yeah, who was
it? With Toro Calican, it was Orlando Bloom.
That's right. That's right.
And it's kind of funny that it's never brought up, but I guess they had him in mind, and maybe he turned it down or wasn't available or whatever. But
that's really funny. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's right. He had a lot to say because is that the same time you and I spoke with him that first time?
Yeah, I've only seen him once.
Yeah. So he talked a lot about that mural, and we were just like,
yeah. Oh no. I thought you were talking about today. I know I'd seen him. I'd met him before at another con, and we talked a lot. He talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he
a lot of interesting things.
He can go on for a while.
But these past cons that I've seen him at, he was at San Diego Comic-Con, of course. He's making a lot of money. He has a lot of customers.
Dude, he was busy.
I mean,
he thankfully it was really nice. He came out and gave us a hug, and we said, "Hey, so good, so glad to see you." But man, he was making money like quick. And his wife was there with him, and she's very funny. Also, she also has a lot to. She also has a lot of stories about his drawings as well. So yeah, if you ever just look up Jason Palmer art on Google, look up his website. He has some amazing artwork, just like some of the best. And I actually have the one that he drew for Celebration Florida, which was it was everything up to that point for Star Wars. And I loved it. And
I think I have that one too.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So yeah, and he's a great guy. So
and he kind of gave us a lesson on art, like all the like placement of the characters and like the almost like the there's like circles of light that are positioned in a particular way. And he said he learned that under Drew Struzan, and his drawing, his artistry is almost like photorealistic.
It's amazing.
I think it's the best out there that you see these artists trying to sell their artwork.
It's shocking how great it looks, and he's great. So shout out to him. Maybe we can have him draw a logo for us. Just kidding, but
that's a great idea.
That is a great idea. Why haven't we thought about that before?
I don't know what his quote would be because I mean he is like an officially licensed Lucasfilm artist, but
he likes us.
We're doing all these shout outs here. I want to shout out one of our listeners who I've trooped with in the 501st, and he's here in Japan. And lo and behold, he listens to the podcast. I didn't know this.
That was wild.
I mean, I'm Facebook friends with him. I troop with him. We're friendly when we see each other. But he also gave me this badge.
Oh, that is dope, dude.
He did the 501st swap. I don't know what the official name is, but he did that last night, and I saw this. He was showing me stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a bunch of those. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it, man. That's pretty cool." I don't think I have one.
So I guess while we're doing it, Level Up Leroy gave me his stuff, which says Level Up Leroy Japan 2025 celebration. It's the Millennium Falcon that looks like a record in the middle. So he gave me a sticker, and then he gave me a patch. And so I was like, that's pretty cool, man. So yeah, it's been fun. We've been having a blast. And okay, I'm gonna throw this out there, guys. Don't get mad at me. I'll make sure to what? Yeah, she told. Oh, okay. Anyways, there was a moment where I was considering not coming to Celebration.
Me too.
There was a moment where I didn't get any of the panels. I got the Twin Suns, which is the only one I got today. I was so mad. I was so livid, but I said, okay, I'll go. And I'm really glad I'm here. It's been a lot of fun. It was a short celebration, but it was still so much fun. This was just,
we still got another day.
Yeah, we still got another day, but Sundays are usually the slowest ones, and we get the closing ceremony tomorrow.
And we get the announcement, hopefully
Warwick Davis doesn't say that one time.
Anaheim, I'm staying with James.
Anyways, I might not even be there in Hollywood. I might be somewhere else in 2027.
Good.
Yeah, right? No, I'm probably gonna be still in Hollywood. But yeah, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm glad I got to hang out with David. And we've been chilling.
For you living in Hollywood, we've hung out a lot. It's like the whole thing with like Colin. Colin lives in Michigan, but we see each other like physically every year for some reason or another.
I've seen you since I moved. I've seen you every year, once a year since I moved, which is bizarre.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works, but yeah. So it's been so much fun, and we're so glad that you're able to join us on here and listen to us talk about it. And hopefully, we're giving you a brief look into how it is. But yeah, tomorrow is the Visions panel. And there's a few other panels, but then the big one, of course, is the closing ceremonies, where we kind of get a recap and we get the announcement of where the next celebration is going to be. Which, now that enough time has passed, I think Ahmed Best is going to be the one who announces where Celebration 2027 is going to be, because apparently he's supposed to announce something really, really
big. Think about it. What's the city?
It's Anaheim. It's definitely Anaheim. There's no way it's not Anaheim. That's my thought process. But what do you think?
Okay, so not Anaheim. What's your gut feeling?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, not Dallas. Sorry,
not Austin.
Not Austin. But it would
the convention center, brand new convention center is being built in Austin. It should be ready by then.
I mean, that'd be cool. Oh,
but it would be weird for Austin.
Celebration San Antonio. San Antonio would not be able to handle
the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center.
Would not be able to handle Celebration.
I don't think we'll have the new complex there yet either. There's like a big
there's another build going.
Yeah, another build. They just tore down like the Folklife agricultural center that there's like a lot of controversy about. But they're going to build like a new arena for the Spurs. Go Spurs, go! If you see that, I don't know. Can't point.
He's a big Spurs fan.
And also a baseball field they're going to build there as well.
For who?
The Missions.
The Missions require their own big baseball field now.
Yeah, a lot of AA teams have like pretty nice fields.
Anyway,
and that current stadium is very old. The Nelson Wolf Stadium, I believe.
I've been there once my whole life.
I've never been there. I've just seen it going to SeaWorld.
Yeah, you pass by all those Missions play there. The Japanese influence has resulted in great new artwork and costumes. Yes, the artwork here is amazing. It's so great. And the cosplay here is also really great. We've seen some amazing costumes. And of course, it's mostly, so we did like a kind of a, what's the ratio of people from Japan versus people from everywhere else
versus foreigners?
Yeah. And it's about 70-30, but I will say the 30 know how to cosplay and know how to look, and they look amazing out there, and it's incredible to see these complex, amazing costumes that people are wearing, and it's pretty great. And I like
the mashups.
The mashups.
Oh, yeah, like samurai style Vader, samurai style Maul.
We've seen some pretty cool. dope.
And we're in Japan, so I mean, makes sense.
So, would San Francisco be San Francisco?
I brought that up in the past, and I got shot down so hard.
By who? Me?
No. Their convention center is not very big, but you would think. I mean, Marin County. That's where Lucasfilm is located. That's what I kind of thought too, but there's no convention center that could hold the population that celebration is going to require, especially since it's a 50th anniversary. It's probably going to be the biggest celebration of all time. You need a venue to support that. There's only really 3 venues, or maybe 4. I would say Anaheim, Orlando, Chicago, New York.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 that can probably justify a 50th anniversary celebration.
Chicago would be a great choice because Chicago is the biggest convention center in the United States. But as for who we need to be there at that 50th anniversary, Anaheim makes the most sense. So,
Right.
And plus Disneyland's right there. You want to try to bring people into Disneyland, go to Galaxy's Edge, have fun. So yeah, I'm gonna say Anaheim for tomorrow is what they're gonna announce. So
For 2027.
2027, not 2026, 2027. Well, that was fun. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you all so much for watching. And we're going to be back again tomorrow with the closing ceremonies and our adventures for the day. And we've been having a blast, and I've been having a lot of fun, David.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Another celebration almost in the books.
Yes. And all right. So I keep hearing Orlando. All right, that would also make sense as well. Orlando, I think either the 3. I think either Chicago, Orlando, or Anaheim would be the 50th one. But I'm going to lean more towards Anaheim.
You would think they'd want John Williams to be there, and he's not flying.
Dude, he's going to be like
he lives closer to Anaheim, so
he's going to be 95 or something when that one drops.
But then again, I mean, at that point, do you think maybe he's just officially retired because he's retired so many times in the past?
I don't know.
I mean, it's almost like we're just kind of waiting for him physically not to be able to conduct or be at a site. So
that makes me sad.
Yeah, it's I think about that question maybe more than I probably should, but yeah, I love the speculation about Star Wars and especially celebration sites too. Japan was such a surprise in London.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to have to fly all the way to Japan. It's a long flight for me, guys. What is it? 15 hours, 16 hours?
Yeah.
Total? Yeah. And plus I had to do a layover as well. So yeah, lots of hours. And then as soon as I got here, let's go here, let's go there, let's eat it.
I only said let's go get our badges.
James said, yeah, you can go to sleep after we get the badges.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to get it done with. I wanted just to not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because what I was afraid was going to happen was you would fall asleep and then you would just sleep.
Not wake up.
Yeah. And then we'd have to wake up early on Friday.
That didn't happen.
It didn't. You know why? Because we got the badges early. See what I'm saying? So
I think it's like a 2-hour nap or something. But
anyways, thank you very much for watching. Let's see if I know how to work this thing. Is this the one? Yeah. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notify bell on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Also, I'm not going to do that one because apparently that's not the right one. If you want to look us up on X, Stuff Pod, leave us some comments, talk to us. Blue Sky, Star Wars Stuff at bluesky.social. Threads, we put some stuff there on Threads, Star Wars Stuff Podcast. And hey, if you want to support us on Patreon, look us up at Star Wars Stuff Podcast 2187. Help us. Anything would be amazing. And we like to we always thank our patrons before each episode, which we didn't do yesterday, but we do our best to thank our patrons because of them, we're able to get new equipment. We're able to pay for some swag that we want to share with people and to spread the word that we are a podcast that actually likes Star Wars, which is how I've been introducing ourselves, and people like that. People are like, oh wow, that's good to know. Also, TikTok, Star Wars Stuff Podcast. Colin is uploading a lot of stuff to that, so we'd like to thank Colin for that.
Colin's been doing a lot
Colin has been killing it,
legwork there.
Yeah, so thank you, Colin, for all your hard work on Instagram and TikTok as well, and YouTube. Email us, starwarstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Let us leave us a comment, give us a topic suggestion, chat with us. I don't know, just if you want to email us, just email us there. And also check us out on Facebook, Star Wars Stuff Podcast group, and the Star Wars Stuff Podcast page. That's a lot. Oh, and you know what? If you're listening on Apple right now, just give us a 5-star. 5 stars. That's cool, man. That'd be so cool if you could do that. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it's 7:17 p.m. in Japan right now.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. But yes, thank y'all so much for being a part of this and for watching. And we will be back again with another amazing topic tomorrow. And may the force be with you.
Always.